Okay, we're just looping. I love it. All right, we're ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Woohoo! All right, DJ, cut it.
Cut it.
Get it.
But we just started playing.
Oh, wait, do you want to keep playing?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Let's get into it. Everyone's here. Everyone's watching.
Everyone's here.
Let's
Everyone's
go.
watching. Hi, I'm Sam.
AKKI.
This is DJ AKKI, and this is Mixer to Mixer, the show where we have honest conversation about nightlife and sobriety while I'm learning how to DJ and AKKI learns how to make non-alcoholic cocktails.
Yes, very important.
This is our very first episode. This is the pilot. We're super excited to kick this off with maybe mostly like an intro to DJ AKKI. Is it DJ AKKI or
No,
is it
just AKKI.
Just
Just
AKKI.
AKKI.
Just like Madonna. It's just like, you know, we know her, AKKI.
Yes, I'm the next Madonna, obviously.
And so very brief intro about myself. My name is Sam. I run a non-alcoholic pop-up bar called Third Place Bar, and I also love nightlife. And I met AKKI. We met through a friend, right? We met through Joe.
Our friend Joe, shout out Joe.
Hey, Joe.
I know you're going to be watching this.
We met through
Yes.
Joe a few months ago, and you recently celebrated your first year, 1 year sobriety.
I did.
And I figured let's talk. Let's talk about this because
Yeah.
I love clubbing. I love nightlife. I also run a non-alcoholic bar, so I love having those kinds of conversations with people that are in nightlife.
Yeah.
So first of all, I'm actually really curious. How did you get started DJing?
Yeah, that's funny. So how I first got started into music itself was like your classic, teenage angst story where I would lock myself in the bathroom and write songs about
Were you an
the end of the
emo
world.
girl?
I mean, like a kind of emo meets pop, you know?
Okay.
It's like I would write emo lyrics but to like pop songs. And I used to play the electric organ, so I would, compose on that.
That is really uncool, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. I was total nerd status. Total nerd status. And then, I moved. So I grew up in Australia and Singapore. And then I moved to New York for college. Didn't really do much in music for a little bit. I was on like a Latin dance team in college called Sabor. And
Nice.
yeah, like flavor. Anyone that doesn't know what that
Flavor.
means. And I was like
Important. It's sabor, flavor. We're learning things here.
Sabor. We all had like a Sabor name and everything. Like my name was Canela, which means cinnamon.
Nice. That's so cute.
Yeah. So I was, cutting their music and stuff. So I was still kind of involved there. And then a few years later, I started getting more excited about just like hosting parties at home and doing a very professional DJ mix at home where I just have 2 YouTube videos up and I try to
Nice.
sync them up and
YouTube DJing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a whole thing now. I went to
Yeah.
a huge party where they had a YouTube DJ. Like it's a whole like genre of DJing.
Yeah, and I feel like now the technology is probably a lot better, but back in the day it was very manual, and I had to like sit there and try to keep restarting, hitting the play button so that it would all sync up. And but I think what really got me into DJing was just my fascination with how music can just be such a lovely icebreaker for people. And I always had friends from all different kinds of groups, like all walks of life. And what I just love the most is just seeing people from like different walks of life, with different backgrounds, connect when they just have a mutual love for the same music.
Yeah.
And that's just like what I loved, I'd always just be in the corner doing that, because for me that was the best way to just like facilitate that connection between people. And then I started taking classes at Scratch DJ Academy.
There's DJ classes. You
Yeah,
went to DJ school?
I went to DK. Yeah, I mean,
Did you graduate from DJ school with like a little certificate and like a
probably
like a
a
hat
certificate
and stuff?
somewhere. No, I just took like 2 courses.
Got it.
I mean, I think there are some like actual like universities and courses and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I mean, it is called Scratch Academy, so it's very professional.
Very, very academic.
Yeah, exactly. And then I just started reaching out to the bars that I used to actually go to and be like,
Yeah.
hey, can I DJ? I used to DJ at like sports bars, like Tonic. If anyone remembers Tonic.
Classy.
Back in the day, yeah, I used to DJ there on like a Monday night from 7 to 12. And I had to kind of DJ in between like the sports events. Like whenever there was like an ad, I would
Were
play.
you playing like sports themed like songs too?
No.
It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming. Football's coming. That one.
I wish it was like We Will Rock You or something. No. they said very specifically that I had to play top 40s.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny that you asked because I got fired because I did not play enough top 40s.
You got fired from the sports bar.
I got fired.
That's kind of like a little bit of a badge of honor, though.
Oh,
it's like
for
got
sure.
fired from the sports bar for
For
being
sure.
too cool.
I mean, yeah,
Love
because
it.
I started playing like Giga Mesh remixes.
I don't even
like,
know what that is. It's so underground.
yeah, Giga Mesh, is this awesome DJ producer, and he did some like new disco back in the day. I used to play like, I was kind of, finding that niche, and I used to keep getting texts from the manager as I was playing saying like, hey, look, I need more top 40s.
That's so funny.
It was really funny. And then, so I got fired. Yay. I got fired. And then, but that kind of led me to where I am now because I reached out to a friend of mine who also went to Columbia with me, and he was DJing actually like a bunch of different hotels, and he invited me on to go back to back.
In Colombia?
And no, we went to Columbia together, University.
Oh, Columbia. Sorry,
Yeah.
I thought the country.
No.
Okay, got it.
I skipped over that bit. That's where I was dancing on Subboard. So we started doing like back-to-back sets, and that was more where I could play like deep house, different kind of music. And then I started leveraging channels like Twitter and just getting in touch with random promoters, and like, just playing around in the scene. There was this event, place called Tammany Hall back in the day, which was really popular. I think it's shut down now. So like that was one of my first debuts into the more underground scene. And then I got more into like the Brooklyn scene. I started throwing events that were focused on women, actually, because like I very quickly realized how few women there were in the scene.
Yeah.
So I started, this name sounds so cheesy now, but I started a Women of Deep House series.
Women of Deep House.
Yeah. The Women of Deep House.
Sounds very sophisticated.
Yeah.
Classy.
It's more sophisticated than it was. We were
Did get sloppy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We were throwing events at this place called Cameo, which I don't think exists anymore either. But they had this amazing back room, and we invited a lot of women guests, and it had like a full women lineup. And it was awesome to kind of, like find a niche there. And I still am very passionate about promoting not just female artists, like non-binary LGBTQ artists, artists of color. So I feel like a lot of my network is really focused on that too.
Yeah. That's super cool. I forgot a very important part of this whole show.
Yes. Because
I brought some non-alcoholic drinks.
Yes.
Drinks of the day before we actually make some. Oh, James. I got a couple of beers because you said you used to really enjoy drinking whiskey and you also would drink beer. So
yes.
I just got us a couple of non-alcoholic Brooklyn Brewery Brooklyn Lagers.
Hell yeah.
No, sorry, not Brooklyn Lager. Brooklyn Brewery Special Effects.
Okay, awesome.
And it is hot as balls outside today, so I feel like this is ready. You're just trying to splash this right into
Yeah, exactly. I thought that would be a great cameo moment. I'm actually going to use this for my neck.
This is nice. Yeah, it's nice and cold. This is what we're using it for.
Like just stick my head into
just
a
gotta watch
freezer
this.
already. Yeah. I'm not actually drinking.
Okay, well, I kind of want to drink it. So.
Okay, all right. We've got a cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to the first episode.
To the first episode.
And to for everyone that doesn't know, I don't know why you would know this, but we came up with this idea on Monday.
On Monday,
and
yes.
It's Saturday.
It's been less than 5 days.
Yeah.
It was a Monday morning. I had coffee. That always happens when I have coffee.
Yes.
The crazy ideas just happen.
Yep.
This just happened because I'm currently running a bunch of non-alcoholic cocktail classes in Brooklyn. And AKKI asked, "Ooh, can you teach me how to do this?" And I said, "Yeah, if you teach me how to DJ, we can do that." And then we said, "This sounds kind of hilarious and chaotic. Let's film it."
Yes,
and then all of a sudden, we have this whole production here.
Yes.
I'm very excited. Right, so I'm actually really curious. So you've said a lot of places and a lot of venues and everything. Like, how long have you been doing this for? It sounds like you've been doing this like for forever.
I think it's about 9 years.
Holy crap. Okay. Yeah.
It's funny because it still feels like yesterday. Like for the longest time, I was like, oh, I've been doing it for 5 years. And like 4 years later, I'm like, oh, I can't say 5 years anymore.
So
it's actually like 9 or something.
Is this like your full-time thing?
No, I have a day job.
What's
yes,
your
I
day
have a day
job
job in marketing.
Oh, marketing. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
But it's funny because people ask, well, like what's like the correlation? Like you're like a marketer, but you're like also a DJ. And I think for me, both industries are really just about understanding people.
Yeah.
It's about like understanding how people feel, like what like resonates with them, like how to like communicate like the right message. And that's kind of where like I see the synergy.
Yeah. That's pretty well. You've been doing it for so long. You've been doing this for 9 years. I literally just moved to New York City 9 years ago. So wow. So obviously, you know, the next question is sort of, especially I feel like especially in New York City, but pretty much like nightlife everywhere, it is pretty debaucherous, right? Like the party never stops and people drink, use any kind of substance and everything. You just, so after those like basically 9 years or 8 years of you know being part of the nightlife, you decided to get sober, stop drinking. How did that happen, and what was sort of what happened before that, and then how did you decide, okay, this is it?
I think that like as I got older and as I just started taking more gigs and shows, just like drinking heavily wasn't sustainable for me. And I also found that it just wasn't having the same effect on me as it used to. I feel like when you're younger, you have all that energy, and alcohol, it definitely is more of that stimulant. And for me, it became a bit more of a depressant, and the hangovers just became worse. And I couldn't sleep, and I said, this just isn't fun anymore. Like, I'm depressed when I drink, and then I'm just depressed when I wake up. Like, why am I living life like this? Why am I just depressed all the time? Like, something needs to go. And the only way out for me was just to completely cut it off, because I tried a few times to moderate. You know, I was like, I'll just go out, have one glass of wine, or like, you know, just 2 whiskeys or whatever. As I said earlier, whiskey was my vice. I loved going to a bar and like ordering a whiskey neat and being super hardcore. I know,
right? It's like, oh my God, I'm like such a classy lady, and I'm so grown up and like such a boss babe. Like I'm drinking my whiskey neat.
Especially if you order a brand like Basil Hayden was my go-to.
Oh, wow, okay, I haven't even heard of that. I would drink scotch. Like I'm like a Lefroy person. Like make it really smoky, Lefroy. Make it really peaty. And now I put like Lapsang Soufflon tea in all my drinks because that makes them smoky, and I'm like, it's the same thing.
Exactly. After a while you realize that, you know, you want the taste but you just don't want the effects anymore. And, you know, I tried like twice to stop drinking, and I only really managed it on the third time. And I think I only really managed it on the third time because of the first 2 times that I wasn't able to do it. And I figured out like what was kind of getting me back into it.
Interesting.
And that was just the inability to moderate, really. And also, the third time, I had the support of this app called Reframe, which was very helpful.
I keep getting ads for it. I've never tried it, but I keep seeing ads, and I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm like 8 months in, and I don't care about it anymore. Like, it's fine. Thank you.
After a certain time, you don't need it anymore. And obviously, I have an amazing therapist that I didn't really have like the first 2 times. So I think both together was great. What's really good about Reframe is that you can have like these online check-ins, and it's not like AA where you have to go in person and everyone knows who you are. Like, you can be anonymous. You don't have to say anything. You don't even have to turn your camera on. But they have actual coaches that do it about 3 times a day. They have like an anonymous forum where if you just had a bad day, if you had a slip,
that's so nice.
you can celebrate milestones. Exactly. And people post all sorts of stuff. They post supportive messages. They post about slips. Like they post to like, you know, celebrate milestones.
Got it.
And there's people from all over. Like a lot of people struggle with alcohol, and it was really great to kind of have that support system. You know.
I have another question. You don't have to go into too much detail if you don't feel comfortable with that. But to me, it sounds mostly like you were drinking, kind of chugging along, doing your thing, and it just like wasn't working for you anymore. That wasn't like, oh my God, this was like, my life was in shambles and everything was horrible and I lost my job and all that. Like it sounds like you were doing just fine, but the drinking just wasn't making things better.
That's exactly it. Like a lot of people talk about this rock bottom moment. And a lot of what we discussed in like the Reframe check-ins was that you don't have to wait for that rock bottom moment to happen. If you could kind of see it in the horizon, like that's enough to really kind of check yourself and be like, all right, is this going to be viable to my life? And just being a DJ producer in the scene, you get free alcohol all the time, like through like drink tickets, or even like some places actually give you a full bottle.
It's like a bottle of liquor.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
They just give you a full bottle, obviously to
like
share.
A pizza instead, maybe. I don't know.
I actually
kind
started
of ice cream.
Yeah, I mean, I've started like thinking about more innovative ways to replace the alcohol now in my riders. And if I'm playing like 2 nights in a row, like I just opened for Galantis at the Mirage, and one night was an opening set at 10 p.m. and the next night was opening and closing at 10 p.m.
Was that the one where you're like in the middle of the crowd? Was that the
No,
Mirage
that
set?
was, I think they just recently had like a boiler
Got
room
it.
at the Mirage.
Oh, got it.
But this one, no, I was like way on stage.
Got it.
Away from everyone. But it's like, how would I possibly have done that if I was drinking heavily, you know? Like,
I don't know, like people do it,
people
right? That's
do
the
it.
crazy
People do
thing.
it.
It's like you got your downers and you got your uppers, and
It's
then
true.
you just like keep going, right?
It's true,
That's
yeah.
like that's kind of what I see with a lot of people, and I'm like absolutely not judging. Who am I to judge, right?
Yeah.
But like I can totally see that being such an attractive like cycle where it's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, if I can't, like I have heard from people like, you know, if you're too fucked up from drinking, like just do some blow, and then, and you're gonna be
exactly.
fine again, right? That's like,
Exactly.
and that keeps you going.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, if you feel hungover, you just have another drink because that, you know, helps with a hangover. Obviously, that's just how it works. And
Yeah.
I can totally see that just, you know, being like being a cycle that you get into. I'm actually really curious, just like in general, you mentioned a little bit with like getting bottles and stuff, but how does like being part of nightlife, how did that make things like harder for you, or maybe even like more obvious that like that's not something for you? Like how did being part of like nightlife, club culture, being a DJ, having riders, right? Or having people buy you drinks or give you free drinks, like how did that like play into the whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's what again gets really tough, because to your point, it's not even just the alcohol that you get given for free. You're right, like people, I have friends buying me drinks. I have like random people in the crowd, if they like my set, they'll just like give me their drink ticket and be like, can I get you something?
Yeah.
It's really sweet. And like you said, no judgment on anyone. And there's lots of DJs that I know that are able to like drink a lot of alcohol and go on tour and like be fine. I'm not like that. Like I'm not wired that way. I get anxious if I drink too much.
Oh, God,
and I like, if I get anxious, like how am I supposed to be productive? But back to your question. So I think then when I, you know, decided to be sober, the first thing that really scared me was DJing. Like, how am I supposed to DJ sober? I love just like, drinking whiskey during a set. It would calm my nerves.
It was like neat.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. It was lethal. Ooh, lethal.
Intense.
Ooh, I can't feel the ground. Don't look down.
Do you feel from a career perspective that like not drinking or doing other stuff, and because that is a little bit of a bonding thing, right? You have drinks, you do shots with people, or like whatever else it is, they're like, you know, you go to the back room with them, and that is like a bonding thing, right? Because you're doing something that's like either like doing the shots and celebrating, or doing drugs together, and you're like, you know, it's like you're doing something secret and sneaky together, and I feel like that's like a bonding thing for a lot of people. Do you feel that by being sober, you're like maybe missing out on things like that?
Not really, because I'm still able to have those conversations and like be in the same room as people. Like I don't care if they're drinking or doing whatever. I'm still able to be there and connect. And this is what I think has made my journey, and I think your journey as well, quite unique, is that there's a lot of people I met in that Reframe app that I was talking about, where they're more of like a retired party person. They just kind of want to, they just want to stop completely. Like partying is no longer in their life. And my whole thing was, I don't want to just be in like a alcohol-free, you know, network. Like I want to be able to still do all the things that I was doing, but take alcohol out of the equation. And that's thing one. And I think thing two is like, there's actually a growing number of DJs and producers that are more sober now as well. Like I see a lot of DJs.
Well, hopefully you're going to have more of those on the show.
Yeah, exactly. Hint, hint. And I found, especially with DJs on tour, where, you know, they're just like back to back, like taking a flight the next morning. They can't afford to be wasted every night. And it's great to be sober and have actual conversations with them and like remember that conversation.
That's actually really nice. Yeah, maybe that's even better for your career in the long term, right? Because like people will actually remember you, and not just like, oh yeah, this random person I like got absolutely like shit-faced drunk with like at Mirage like last Monday, but I don't even remember who that person is.
Exactly. I think a lot of producers or artists in general just like come to a crossroads where it's like, I could keep treating this as a, you know, party entertainment lifestyle, or I could kind of like think about this as more of like a professional lifestyle and try to moderate so that I can still, you know, produce music, do my work, and show up in the best way.
Do you think that's more of a thing now in like 2023 compared to like 5, 6, 7 years ago maybe, or when you started DJing? Do you see that more?
I feel like maybe I'm just seeing it more on my network, but that doesn't mean that it didn't exist. I've obviously, I've watched interviews and I've heard about certain DJs, producers be, in substances and be drinking a lot more back in the day. And now I think it could also be a lot more prevalent because especially bars in Brooklyn and clubs in Brooklyn are a lot more accommodating for non-alcohol options.
Yeah.
Like I think Elsewhere is actually a great example here. They have a lot of really good non-alcoholic beers. They have like a lot of non-alcoholic liquors as well. I've heard that a lot of the bartenders there are sober.
Yeah.
So they're always like very accommodating for the options and like, for what I need. So, and I think the conversation is just a lot more now and it's a lot more acceptable to be sober. Yeah. And, it's a lot more empowering, I feel, and people are a lot more open about talking about their history with and struggling with drugs and like alcohol addiction and things like that.
Yeah,
So
get it. That's super cool.
Yeah.
I'm staring at this thing. Thanks so much for sharing all this, Aki. This is super cool. This is also the first time we're actually having this conversation. We've literally just been like sending like thumbs up to each other on Instagram, like, yeah, you go, girl. So this is the first time I'm actually hearing your story, which is super, super cool. Thanks for sharing. So now for I don't know if this is going to be fun for you. It's probably maybe fun for me.
it's going to be super fun for me.
We're going to do DJ stuff. So I personally have absolutely no idea how this whole thing works. The last time I DJ'd was in like probably 2005, and I had like 2 CD players and like a crossfader. And I played like song 1 on the left CD player, and then I faded over to song 2. There was no beat like matching or anything, and like honestly, every time I see DJs do the thing, they're like pushing buttons and like twiddling the knobs and everything. I'm like, the music sounds the same. What are you doing? Like, what is happening? Like, what are you doing? And I don't even like. There's no CD players anymore. There's no record players. None of this makes any sense to me. So. Please explain to me how this works. First of all, how do you get the music onto? What is this thing? It's a mixer, right?
So this is an XDJ controller.
It's an XDJ controller.
Yes, but what a lot of clubs have are CDJs, which is basically like what these things are. You have like the jog wheel. Each is 1 channel. So if you're mixing 2 tracks, you have like one track coming through here, another track coming through there. Some clubs give you like 4 CDJs. You can mix like 4 tracks at the same time, and you can layer and stuff. Yeah, it's really cool. I think the most I've tried to do at one point is like 3. But it gets really fun. Yeah. I'm not sure if I've done 4.
It's like juggling.
Yeah.
Like, how many balls can you juggle?
Yeah. I mean, you have to. I think I saw this like Instagram video the other day, which said that your brain when you DJ, it's like the same as like writing an SAT exam.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, okay.
So like blank.
Or just like you're so like focused because you're just doing so many things. Yeah. So.
Ooh, okay, what you doing? Okay, so how did you get, there's like, I see there are 2 songs that kind of, what do you call it, queued up?
Yeah,
okay.
Queued up.
How did you get the songs into the machine?
Oh, okay, yes, that was your original question. So you see this bad boy here.
The bad boy.
This bad boy.
This bad boy
or
packs
bad girl.
a whole
We're not being sexist
64
here.
gigs.
This is USB, obviously. So you find your tracks on the computer and you load them into a USB using a software called Rekordbox, which analyzes it for the software. So it makes it compatible for the software in the CDJ, so that you can actually read the music. You can actually, do things like quantize the songs. You can quantize. Sure. And this is
you have to explain these terms to me.
I'm sorry.
Quantize.
Just be like, stop, double click. What does that mean?
Like, I don't know.
Quantize.
Sure. That like, it sounds like you're explaining that this is like Oppenheimer. Let's just turn into an episode of like quantum physics or something.
Quantize just means like it's like analyzed so that you can beat match it.
Okay.
And so speaking of beat match, I mean your CD player example seemed kind of legit. You're putting in 1 track and you're fading out another. Except this. You're a DJ, you didn't know it.
I was a DJ for like a hot second.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but what you're doing here, just to make the transitions a bit more seamless, is people get really fancy. I'm just gonna make it very basic.
Okay, yeah, I don't do fancy. There's a lot of buttons here. I don't know, James, did you get like a video of this? There's a lot of just like, I mean, things are flashing. Like,
I know.
There's like orange flashy lights, green
Yeah.
flashy lights, and red flashy lights. There's like a lot going on.
It's like a pilot cockpit.
Yeah, right.
Okay, but I'm gonna just like focus on the basics.
Okay,
what you need
please.
to know. Yeah, we don't need to be fancy.
Episode 2, we're gonna like fucking go ham.
Like a non-alcoholic beer break. So,
Right.
like I said, song 1, song 2. This controls the BPM,
Okay.
beats per minute.
That one I got. Yeah.
You told me it was quantum physics. I'm just trying to break it down. So, beats per minute. This little guy, this button here, keeps it on key.
Master
so if
tempo.
if you like, so that means even if you switch the tempo, it keeps like the pitch the same as the original song.
Got it.
And then, honestly, I think the only things you really need to keep in mind when you're mixing a track is getting the BPM, right? And then I try to mix in key, which
Okay.
means that you want to mix tracks that where the keys actually flow together.
Okay.
And there's a program on the computer called Mixed in Key where you can analyze and tag what the different keys are.
Okay.
So not everyone does that. I like doing
and then
it.
how do you get that information from your computer?
So it just gets tagged on the USB.
Got it, gets tagged,
So
okay.
These two tracks don't have it, but it will come up with like a number,
okay.
and it will tell you like the number tells you basically like what key the track's in, and then so these are lows, mids, and highs.
Okay.
So lows, mids, and highs are basically the different frequencies in
Okay,
a track.
got it.
Your low is like your bass, because that's
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
feel, you know.
I've done like EQ stuff like on like even Spotify or like any kind of like sound system. You have like the low, mids, and highs.
Lows, mids, and the highs.
Okay.
Yeah,
That one I know.
See, there you go.
Okay.
It's not quantum physics. See, anyone can do this. I don't know why I'm getting paid for it. So, okay, and these are 2 volume buttons for each track. So what you want to do when you're mixing a track,
which ones are the volume?
these
buttons?
are the volume buttons.
Oh, the sliders.
The sliders,
Okay,
the sliders.
got it.
Boop, 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 boop.
Okay.
Okay, so when you're mixing a track,
Okay.
you normally want to say like, should we just hit play? Should we see what's going on?
Okay.
I've heard you like this song.
I like this song. Ooh, yeah, groovy. Oh hell yeah.
Hey.
Little dance break.
Woo! Taking this track back.
Okay.
That kind of went with it though. That was an accident.
Would you, if you did that, so you just did a rewind?
I just
would
did a
you
rewind.
Turn off the volume here?
Yeah, so it's like if I'm mixing in my headphones. I normally wear these bad boys.
Got it.
And then I'll like cue this up.
And where's the headphone volume?
The headphone volume is here.
Got it.
So there's
okay.
there's 2
headphones.
options.
There's a separate.
So if you
okay.
just turn it to cue, that means you only hear what's coming in.
Got
And
it.
then if you turn it to master, you hear what is playing.
Can I wear the headphones?
course.
Okay, it's like this. Oh my god.
Of
DJ
course.
Sam!
I love how
yeah.
excited you're getting. Okay.
God, I am so excited.
Here
This
we
is all like
go.
magic to me.
Okay.
And I tell you, like, I have a really good taste in music, so once I learn how to DJ, it's over for y'all.
It's over for everyone.
over for
You're not
everyone.
even going to need me
You'll be
anymore. You're going to get
killing
fired.
it. Well, I'll
Okay,
teach you
so-
how to make the drinks.
Okay, so there's right and left.
Okay. Once I learn how to distinguish the left and the right side of the headphones,
Start with basics.
over for you.
Okay.
Okay, I can't hear anything right now.
So, just because I'm not playing anything.
Oh.
All right, ready?
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to play. And you're probably going to hear
Okay, now I hear it.
that it sounds very off, right? It's
Okay.
not in sync.
Yeah, no.
So I press Q. Oh, relax.
Well, I
Pause,
only
pause.
hear in the headphones. I only hear the right side. though.
Right.
I don't,
That's
okay.
fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Because this button's not pressed.
God.
If I press this,
Oh.
now you're gonna hear. See, you hear that? Okay. So, and you hear this out.
Oh God.
It's not-
So
it's a
now I'm
train wreck,
hearing
right?
both.
It's a train wreck. It's a train wreck.
It's terrible.
Okay.
It's, oh my God. can
See,
you turn
so
it
that you
down?
guys can hear what she hears. So that's a train wreck transition.
She's
We
like,
don't like
touch
that.
it,
Don't touch it.
Don't touch
Sweat,
it.
sweat. Okay, what are we
This
gonna
is
do?
like when I'm behind a bar and someone like tries to like grab my garnishes. I'm like, no. Can you turn down the volume just a little bit?
Of the
though?
headphones?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the headphones.
okay.
It's very loud.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'll let you do it next time. Okay.
This is like,
No, don't touch. Who do you think you are? Jeez, just come in here once. Think you
Okay.
can take over. So that's not in sync, right? Let's go to the beginning. Let's go to the beginning.
okay.
So should we do a transition?
Yeah.
So I'm going to play this on loud so that everyone else can hear it, right? Let's hear the transition. So I'm going to loop it. this button says in. You press it so you can start looping. 2, 3, 4.
Okay, why would you want to loop it?
So that you can get into a good mix. Oh, okay. Well, the loop isn't working, so I guess we'll do it without the loop. Thank you, equipment, for breaking down on me. Okay, so let's ignore the loop. But to your question, I like looping the songs coming in sometimes because that gives me more time to transition out the other track.
Got it.
And then if I queue up something in loop, it's ready to go, and I can bring it at any time.
That makes sense, and it doesn't just like the song doesn't just change
exactly
while you're trying to mix into it.
Right.
But you actually have like the bit that you know that you recognize that's looping.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, look at me.
And then sometimes you can also loop the song that's like playing. So like this.
Oh, look at it.
There you go. And then you can also have these cue points. And then if you
how do you start and stop the loop?
Okay, so you go in and out.
Yeah.
So you say, so let's exit this loop, right? Okay. Starting.
And start.
End.
Okay.
And then say that's a key point.
Can I do that?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, we're doing it
yeah.
out here, right?
I'm gonna turn off this guy.
Exiting the loop.
Wait. Oh no. You just like push it once and then you stop.
Okay.
All right, let's try that again.
Okay.
Oh, okay, sorry. Let you do it. I'm a micromanager.
That's a terrible loop. Okay, let me do it again.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so let's keep that. Let's keep that.
Ooh,
All right,
okay, we're doing something.
Keep it.
Okay.
Say we try to get this song going.
Woo!
Right? Woo! So first thing we got to do is get the BPM.
Okay.
So you see it's 126.
Yeah.
That's 122.
So you turn it down.
Yes, exactly. Turn it down to
by moving the slider up, obviously.
22.6. Okay.
Whoa, okay.
And then you want to put the bass down when you're first mixing in a track.
Oh, why is that?
Because if it's two basses playing at the same time, it might get quite muddy.
Okay, got it.
So you kind of want to you don't want to confuse people with the
little bit of
grooves.
the beat and the higher stuff like coming in, the higher frequency. Got it. I actually. Yeah, this is making sense now with like what I hear when I go to a club. Like you kind of hear like the melody and like some of the like higher like beat stuff coming in.
Yeah.
But then the bass usually catches up. Like,
exactly.
Okay.
And sometimes you kind of like wait for the bass before putting it in just to kind of have that down point. So let's play this.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to restart this track so we have a bit more leverage to mix something in. Let's play from here.
Oh, it's like.
Okay, so, live camera. Let's create this loop.
Ooh, I like that.
So it's a little out of sync. But so you just move it a little bit. Just kind of like mess with this a little bit.
So what are you doing when you're like
pushing? So this one is pushing it forward. So it's like basically.
So you want
that
like to align the beats.
Yeah,
there?
exactly.
Okay, got
and
it.
you can kind of look at this guy to see where these like red lines line up.
Oh, the red lines.
But
okay, got it.
you want to listen with your ears as well. Like, how do you think that sounds? Do you think that's like?
I can't even hear the other beat.
Listen to your headphones.
Oh, okay, there you go. It works.
It works?
Like I can hear the vocals, and the vocals are pretty aligned. Like, oh, I take you there.
There you go. Here we go for another cheesy track.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And we
this is good. I like this. Fucking smash hit right there.
You can filter this guy out. There you go. That's what all the buttons do.
See? Oh, can I put the bass in? Tell me when to put it
turn
in.
this bass on.
This one down?
So here, you're going to turn this down as you turn this one on.
Look at this.
There you go.
There's no bass.
Oh, wait. There you go. 12 o'clock. It's because it's a breakdown.
Yeah.
So the breakdown's happening. That's okay.
Okay. And then what do you do when you like twiddle all this stuff?
So
like
sometimes I mess with the highs and mids.
Yeah.
So if I want to like gradually take this out, just keep the mids going. Sorry, keep the highs going, or I might like switch them. There you go. And I might decide to cut it completely. Hey, Madonna. Hey! Yeah! You did your first mix.
wow, there was a lot of hand holding. This is sick. This is a good track too.
Yeah. So Like a Prayer Jean-Philippe remix.
Yeah, this is totally gonna get off of like banned from YouTube. We might have to cut some of those. Well, this is good.
Well,
Sick.
speaking of which, all right, let's
Okay.
not play too much of it.
Yeah. I said you'd like whiskey, and I brought
Yes.
a couple of drinks to make a boulevardier, which is basically like a Negroni, but with whiskey instead of gin. So
Okay.
classic Negroni is, and this is like, I sound like I know what I'm talking about. Like I used to bartend, but I was never a cocktail bartender. I was at a dive bar. Never made a single cocktail in my life. Like the craziest thing I ever did was like gin and tonics.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, so yeah, right. So I never actually was like a cocktail bartender, so I taught myself all this stuff. I think that was also part of why it was so easy for me to stop drinking, because I jumped right into like the whole non-alc like drink world. And it kept me so busy and so entertained, and it gives me so much like stuff to do and play around with and get excited about, that I don't even necessarily miss drinking alcohol from like a culinary perspective in terms of like the flavors and everything. So again, back to like a classic Negroni is 1 part gin, 1 part vermouth, and 1 part Campari, like a red aperitif. I have a slight variation of that here. I have, and again, a Boulevardier is the same, but with with whiskey instead of gin. I have a non-alcoholic whiskey here. Have you tried any of those?
I think I tried a different brand a while ago. So I guess we're
we're
try
tasting.
me
We're
first.
tasting
All right,
them
let's go.
because
And
I didn't
this
want
is
to.
so
like,
great because there are a couple of bars that do phony Negronis.
Yeah.
But that's just like pre-bottled,
The bottled
or
one,
pre-mixed,
yeah.
and I've been quite into those. So it'd be nice to have a
this
fresh
is so
one.
rich. So, yeah, so this is going to be interesting. So this is a non-alcoholic whiskey. Abandon all expectations of what you think a whiskey should taste like. If you smell it, it's like
smells a bit like
the
what I
smell
used
is
to
pretty
drink.
close. Yeah, it smells like, I call it like
Ooh.
mashy. Like it smells like the fermented grain situation kind
Yeah.
of. But when you taste it, cheers.
Cheers. Oh wow, it's like I'm right back.
Really? You think it tastes like whiskey? Because I'm
I
like,
think it tastes kind of like it's got that smoky kick to it.
definitely
Nothing's
has, like-
ever gonna taste like whiskey.
no, and it's like
Let's
this
be
is
honest,
very
but-
sweet. And it has a spiciness to it.
Yeah, exactly.
So a lot of
yeah.
these non-alcoholic whiskeys have capsaicin, which is like a chili pepper spice, in order to emulate the burn or kick of like an actual like alcoholic beverage.
Yeah.
This one is like not crazy spicy. I have another one at home that's called Bear Zero Proof Whiskey. That one is insanely like spicy as hell. So I decided to go with this one because it mixes a little bit better, I think.
Next time
in
we're going
plain drinks
spicy,
like that. I can give you that.
Next time we're going spicy.
We can totally go spicy next time. Okay, so this is the whiskey. I also have a amazing. Have you ever had an Amaro? Do you know what an Amaro?
Oh, Amaro,
is?
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Amaro.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
Fernet, or I mean, I always say like Jägermeister is kind of like an Amaro too. So this one's called Pathfinder. That one's super popular. I will let you, like, I'm not even gonna taste it because the stuff is like precious, but I'll let you taste the Pathfinder. So this is a
Oh my god,
fermented
it smells
hemp.
so nice. What is that aroma?
It's hemp. It's fermented and distilled hemp and wormwood, angelica root, ginger, sage, saffron, orange peel, Douglas fir extracts, and then some other stuff.
Oh, I just
It is
want to keep
extremely-
smelling it. Like
It is very delicious. It's a little sippy drink. Yeah. So if you like bitter, this is the way to go.
this
like
is
if you like bitter stuff.
Yes, I love
So you
bitter.
can already think of like the Negroni and like the bitterness of the Negroni.
Oh my
This is
god,
where
I feel like I could finish a bottle of that.
it is extremely delicious. Yeah, it's really
so
good just
good.
with like club soda. Do you want it? I'll give you a little sip of the.
Should I finish that?
Finish
All
it.
right,
Chug
I'll
it.
finish it. I'll finish
Chug
it.
it.
Bottoms up.
Chug it. I'll give you a little taste of the non-alcoholic Aperol alternative.
Wilfred's.
This one's called Wilfred's. Yeah.
Do you like Wilfred's? I've had it one time.
I like it. I like it a lot. I think it's also great just in club soda, or if you want to make like an Aperol spritz in like a non-alcoholic.
Oh my god.
She likes it.
It's like everything you said after I tasted it just kind of faded away because
Yeah.
it tastes so good. I was like,
Yeah, so
in
these are like the ingredients that we're doing, and we're making a not quite so classic drink with it. Kind of like I don't really like doing equal parts, especially because the Pathfinder is extremely punchy. So equal parts will like be very, very heavy on the Pathfinder. So what I do is 2 ounces of the whiskey, 1 ounce of Pathfinder, and 1 ounce of the Wilfreds. I'm gonna make the first one maybe, and then actually tell you what, I'm just gonna show you how to make it. And then we'll get, like,
I mean,
okay, cool.
now it's just gonna be me, like you trying to DJ.
So this is a jigger, which is literally just for measuring.
Okay.
You will basically, these are Boston shakers. You have a small tin, this is the bottom, you have the big tin to the top, and you can just sort of pop it on, you always see it, and then you can shake it any way you want, really. You can either shake it like this. I like to have 2 hands, like, you know, on either side, because that makes me feel a little safer. The most important thing when you use these kinds of shakers is that the seal, so that it doesn't like splash around, the seal comes, well, A, from obviously just like, you know, pushing it shut, but also B, it comes from the ice, because the cold liquid in there, the cold temperature creates a vacuum, because it's different from the outside temperature, and that gives you the seal. So just keep that in mind and make sure you're, you know, you have plenty of ice in there.
Are you ever scared you're gonna drop it when you shake it? Because I see bartenders just like
no, because that's why
just
I hold it. That's why I hold it like that.
Yeah, okay.
Like I don't trust myself necessarily.
Yeah.
The other thing is also, I personally. So the important thing is technically this kind of drink, like anything that's like basically just like liquor, sort of, or spirit, that doesn't contain any citrus. Usually you would not shake it. Usually you would stir it. So if you think of like a martini or a Manhattan.
Well, he got it wrong.
No, he got it wrong. That's the whole point.
He
got it wrong. Exactly. Like a martini should not be shaken. It should be stirred, because otherwise it gets like tiny like ice shards basically, and it gets cloudy, and you don't want that. You also don't want to dilute it too much. So with non-alcoholic drinks, the main problem with these is these are pretty subtle. And you don't necessarily, because they don't have like the kick of alcohol, so you don't actually want to dilute them too much. So technically what I would do is actually use a big ice cube, keep this in the fridge, use a big ice cube, literally only stir it a couple of times, and then strain it over, like over another large ice cube. We don't have large ice cubes.
So we're not doing the shaky today.
We're doing the shaky shaky.
We are doing.
We're doing the shaky shaky because it's fun. But just keep in mind, generally, like you don't want to necessarily like dilute it too much. I actually think these components can like handle the shaking like pretty well.
The way I'm feeling now is probably the way you felt when you were trying to DJ.
Really?
I'm like, oh my god!
Last thing I forgot to mention, I have some bitters too.
Okay.
These are also non-alcoholic bitters, so we have a complete non-alcoholic drink. Okay, so this jigger, the top is 1 ounce, the bottom is a ½ ounce. You also get larger ones that are 2 ounce and 1 ounces, but I like using the small ones. I don't know why. It just makes me feel more comfortable knowing this is exactly 1 ounce and not having to like remember that this is 2 ounces. I don't know. And we want to already fill our, I know, we're using our hands here. Okay, so we're using 2 ounces of the whiskey, and you can pour it. I don't have
Wait, so you said this is 2 ounces?
This is 1 ounce.
1 ounce.
At the top. Yeah.
See?
So just 2 ounces of whiskey into the shaker that is also into the tin that is already filled with ice. Yeah.
1. I can count.
You're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing great. Okay.
Okay. I think I did a little over, but
that's fine.
You always got to be over the top sometimes.
Okay. And then 1 ounce of this and 1 ounce of this.
Okay.
1 ounce of the Pathfinder. Okay. Let me. I'll open the bottles for you.
This is like me. Okay. Wait, you did your own transition. You were good.
1 ounce of this.
Okay.
Beautiful. Yep. All the way to the top. And get some of the Wilfreds.
Jeez, these bottles are heavy.
Yeah.
How do you do it so quickly?
And you're also like running into the same, just 1 ounce.
Okay.
So the same, just like jigger. Yes. Beautiful.
Oh.
We got some spillage
We have
here.
our first spill, ladies and gents.
And then this one, give it a good shake. Make sure the bottle's really shut before you give it a good shake, because I spilled all my bitters all over. And then 2 droppers of this.
Okay.
So 2 whole droppers.
So as in like...
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. 2. This is 1. And then 2 droppers.
Okay. I love that there's non-alcoholic bitters now. Like, I like just putting those in orange juice and kind of...
Yeah, no, they're amazing. Like, bitters in like anything is just fantastic. Okay.
Okay.
Then pop the top of the shaker onto the top tin. Yes. The other tin.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pop it on.
Okay.
Give it a good spank it. Okay. Good spank. You're probably good. And then hold it, like I said, top
done?
and bottom. That's what I prefer to do. And then shake it. Yeah. Okay. Keep going. Shake it faster. Okay. It's a technique. Yeah. It's great. There's no right or wrong.
Do I shake like that?
No. You kind of think of the ice being on the bottom, and you want to move the ice back and forth like
what
this.
What if I just did that?
You can do that too. Yes. Okay. It's a technique.
Am I doing it?
Am
I doing it?
Let me just. Okay, so the way I do it is just like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
See,
and then
I would get scared that it was going
flip
to
it, and then you want to open it, pop it open.
Okay.
Watch it. Yeah. You can. Perfect.
Ooh, it's all bubbly.
Exactly. And that's kind of what you don't want with a drink like that. You don't really want your Negroni to be foamy, but we're just doing it for effect. You put the strainer on top, and then you hold it like this, just like a little V. And then you, we need more ice in those glasses.
Oh, okay.
Hang on. I'm just doing this with my hands now. This is
fine. We're all friends here.
Yeah, and then you just pour it over. Try and do an equal pour.
Oh.
Yeah, this should be enough for both of us. Yeah. Oh my God, look at that. All right, Miss Bartender.
See, this is the easy part.
And
I know how to distribute a pour.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice us a couple of
yeah, don't ask me to do that.
Orange twists. Yeah. There's knives now.
It's not.
So
me and knives, nope.
What you can do is give it a little spritz here.
Okay, so I'm curious,
you can also
what does
wipe
that
it.
actually do?
So the orange peel actually has oils. It's in the skin. So if you look very closely, if you twist it a little bit, technically there should be a little bit of oils squirting out.
Okay.
This is a terrible peel, but whatever. And you can also wipe it a little bit over the rim of the glass to give it that orangey flavor. It's interesting, oftentimes just the tiniest bit of citrus does actually make a difference and makes the drink pop. Okay. Look at that. Philosophy. All right, on that note, this is, like I said, a boulevardier-ish situation. Hope you like it.
I'm so
Cheers. It's
excited
probably a little
to try
diluted,
it.
to be honest, but let's see how that goes.
Whatever.
It's
I
good.
like it.
It's good. I like it.
You guys should try this at home. So, okay, well, just to recap for the peeps watching.
Yeah.
So, let me see if I get this right. So, it was 2 ounces of Ritual, or any whiskey alternative, right? Would you say Ritual?
Any whiskey alternative goes. It depends on how spicy you want it. So this one is not very spicy. If you get something else like the Bear, for example, it's going to be spicier.
Okay, so 2 ounces of this, 1 ounce of this, Wilfred's. This is Wilfred's non-alcoholic aperitif. It's the bitter orange and rosemary flavor. And 1 ounce of the Pathfinder,
which is the secret weapon. You can put Pathfinder in anything and it's going to taste better.
And two drops of this.
Yep, just orange bitters or any bitters that you have, any non-alcoholic bitters.
And then you shake, but not too much because you get firm.
I would stir it. You stir it.
We just did shake for dramatic effect.
Yes. And then you enjoy.
Enjoy with friends.
This is Mixer to Mixer, the show about honest conversation about nightlife and sobriety, where I also learn how to mix songs and AKKI learns how to mix non-alcoholic drinks.
Oh yeah, this is really good, guys. I highly suggest you try it.
We hope to see you again soon. This was awesome. Thanks so much, AKKI. Cheers.
Thanks, Sam.
Cheers.
And thanks, James.
Thanks, James.
Thanks, James, our great videographer.